Okay, this is a Reginox tap, and some of you will be familiar with what we're about to show you. Perfectly serviceable tap. This one, the actual tap function works perfectly okay, so you can move the handle around, get cold and hot water, doesn't leak from the tap, but what does happen is that water comes out of this joint, and it's a fairly common problem with taps of this design, where the tap body stays still and you can move the base, in this case, to go from sink to sink. So it's got a pretty long range there, but over time that starts to drip, and in this case you can see all the way around the sink here is tracking water. Obviously not very good for the longevity of the worktop. Now the cost of replacement for that tap is around £50. Seems some a little bit dearer, some a little cheaper, but it does seem a shame when the rest of it is in such good condition. So we're going to show you a little fix which will cost you no more than about £5 and take you less than 10 minutes to do. Some of you watching this might be thinking, I need some specialist tools for this, but all you need in this case is a large flat blade screwdriver, and if you've got inline isolating valves, that's probably the one you're going to need. A little flat blade electrician screwdriver, hopefully found in most man drawers or women drawers, that sounds wrong, in the country. Can I say that? I'll do that again.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And I don't like these. This is an adjustable spanner, the tool of the charlatan, but if you've got one spanner in the house and you don't use it very often, these are ideal for large plumbing jobs. So some of you watching this may frown at that. I do have the right size tool, but just to make it accessible for all, there's an adjustable spanner. They're not very expensive. You can buy them in Lidl, I suspect, for less than a £5. Now we've got a bit of luck with this sink in that we've got two inline isolation valves. If you haven't got that, you'll need to turn the water off from the main or from the stopcock somewhere in the house, so that you stop water flowing when you take the tap apart, because if you don't and you take the tap to pieces, water's just going to fly everywhere. But in this case we're in luck because we've got two valves. Let's just isolate those now. One and two. There we are. One of those might just need turning back actually, just so that it's square. They're quite sensitive, these things. Lovely. Now on this tap there's a little red-blue indicator on the tap. Behind there is a little screw to take the lid of the tap off. So if we prise that off, I don't know if you want to do that, just lifts off at the side carefully, and you might not be able to see that on the camera. If we just get the iPhone out, there you go, just about to see a little screw in there. So if we undo that, the lid of that tap is going to come off. Okay. What happened there? There we are. Nearly.
Rounded screwdriver.
Who did it up last time?
Not me.
Did they use a torque wrench? Here we go. Is it not playing? Oh. Ah, and there we go. Look, it's leaking so bad, there's water all around the cartridge of the tap. The cartridge assembly comes out fairly easily. You obviously have a cloth ready, which, oh, hang on. There we are, you now have a cloth. Because there's water going to come out all over the place there. The top unscrews, yours might be slightly different, you might have to use maybe a cloth around there, but hang on, just gone out of focus. Oh no. Yeah, so with that lid removed, that just unscrews. Just slightly slacken the cartridge nut off. You can see what's happening here. The cartridge comes out in one go. There we are. Incidentally, you can buy those cartridges. The whole body unscrews, and being a sort of fairly modular design, the tap spout just lifts straight up. And you can see there's a little white space. Obviously make a note of any spaces that you see, because it's important to get them back in the right order. I know this tap's only got 2. But if we just lift that out. Oh, there we go. There's a spacer on top of the spout. There we go, which is the same as the one around the base of the tap as well. Now that's the tap stripped down. You'll note that there's 2 black seals on there. They've got a slightly raised edge, which you can see in the case of the bottom one there. It's slightly worn away. There's the other spacer there, the white ring that goes around the base of the tap. But those 2 black rubber seals are the problem. So we're going to replace those, pop the tap back together again, and hopefully the tap won't leak anymore. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Reginox and Mayfair Brassware were extremely helpful in helping us with this video. They provided the seals for us, and if you've got a tap made by Reginox, it's worth getting in touch with them directly to investigate exactly what parts you need. Mayfair Brassware makes some of their taps and are also happy to help and can supply some of the parts here. Like I said, they're not expensive, and this little repair kit was no more than £5. So definitely worth thinking about if you're tap stripping and you want to attempt the job yourself. Okay, we're going to attempt reassembly. So first of all, got to remember the spacer. It goes on first, just pops into place. Now, remember to give this a wipe over with a damp cloth before you reassemble it. We've already done that in this case, and there's nothing sort of sticking in, no dirt, no bits of lime scale that could cause damage to the new O-rings. We've got the new O-rings, seals, washers here. Just worth remembering they're actually handed, or rather they have an orientation. There's a little ridge on here, and that needs to be facing to the bottom. There's actually a little cutout, and that needs to be facing down so no water collects in it. I'll just slip this over. Don't worry about damaging it. You will have to stretch it slightly over the tap. It's in place there. That just fits in that little lower groove there. Then the next washer, again, just make sure you haven't picked up any dirt. The owner of this kitchen keeps his worktops very, very clean. And there we go, in place. So the 2 grooves there in place with the seal. Now, just worth remembering also to check the inside of the tap, make sure there's no dirt, lime scale, anything that could cause damage to a rubber seal, bits of grip that might have been picked up. This one's nice and clean. If there is anything on there, what you can do is, again, you could even run a little bit of wire wool around there. If you've not got that though, use a scarab, a soft scouring pad with a little bit of fairy liquid on it, just to sort of deburr or take any loose material or damaged surfaces off of there. This one's nice and clean and perfectly good to go back together. So just slip that over, just gently back together with the body. That should be nice and smooth, and you can see there the top spacer washer is still in situ from before, so it's spacer washer, seal, seal, washer again. And just to have a quick check, both of those ridges are facing down. Pop the tap back together again. Again, just check the surface is nice and clean. We'll just screw the main metal body back together again. Again, we don't really want to be tightening this up too tight, just hand tight is enough. Again, just check the basis of the cartridge there. Pop that back into position. Put the nut that holds the cartridge in place back in, just nip that back up with a spanner. Obviously if you've got the right size spanner, use that. I've measured this one, it looks like a 20 or something. Again, just nip that up into position. Don't need to do any of this up too tight. Screw the little finishing cap off back into position, hand tight. Put the top of the tap back on. Hopefully this will go on a bit easier this time. Tighten up the little screw in there. Again, just a normal flat bladed screw. And the little colour indicator. Make sure as it goes around the right way that your hot is in the hot position and the cold is in the cold position. Put that back into position there. Just push it in place. And should we go for it? Should we turn the water on? Let's turn the water on. Moment of truth, just to turn the water back on. Just turn that 45 degrees, or is it 90 degrees? Depends on your perspective. And that's fully on. So, I guess the test is to clear off any excess water that might have collected. Turn the tap back on. And just check for leaks. In this case, it doesn't seem to be leaking. I'll just turn that off. No water leaking. Problem solved.